Oke, cara akan saya mulai. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second day of OIV UI 2021 English Debate Competition. And today match is the semi-final match. My name is Marfarza Pasha of Tourism Class of 2020, and I will be your host and moderator throughout the competition. Now, let's welcome the players who will be participating in the semi-final match. Our first contingent will be the one to represent the government side is Karimah Taksya Rahman, Amaral Adzikri Swadi, and Aura Maharani from Himra. And to our second contingent, who will be representing the opposition side is Stephanie Nuraini Janis, Saskia Dira, and Alicia Saimona Putri from Himadem. Let's give them a round of applause. And we are also joined by Mr. Dedi Sandro Lubis from the Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing as the Chief Adjudicator. Halo, Kak.
Hello, Marvel. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you
Good
for
luck
joining
for all
us.
participants.
Okay, without further ado, let's check out the motion that is used in today's semi-final match. The motion reads, the use of foreign language harms the younger generation of Indonesia amid globalization and advance in science and technology. And with that, let's see what the sides have to say on the matter, starting with the Prime Minister of the government side. The stage is yours.
Okay, before that, can you listen my voice?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable the Adjudicator, and all participants in this meeting. First of all, I want to say thank you for the opportunity, and before we begin to explain our statement, I would like to introduce the government team. I'm Karimah Taksya Rahman as the Prime Minister, and the second is Amaral Adzikri Swadi as the Deputy Prime Minister, and the last but not least is Aura Maharani as Government Lead. Our motion for today is the use of foreign language harms the younger generation of Indonesia amid globalization and advance in science and technology. Our House cannot be more agree with this motion. And of course, for that we have a lot of arguments. We will explain that. First of all, according to Oxford Dictionary, globalization is the word used to describe the growing interdependence of the world's economies, cultures, and populations, brought about by cross-border trade in goods and services, technology, and flows of investment, people, and information. In a simple way, globalization leads to the unity of the wide world. As what I said before, the world is wide, and every country has their own culture and language. And for Indonesia, based on Data Book's website in 2020, we have 801 local language in every district spread in Sabang until Merauke in Indonesia. And for protect those 801 language, it's our obligation, not just the government, not just the president, but we as the Indonesian citizens. And as we say, we as the citizen Indonesia has that obligation. But what we have, what language we learn, or what language we proud of when we speak, the foreign language. The English language is even not more from our country. According to Mr. Andoyo Sastronudoyo, social linguist in Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia, says that the use of Indonesian among young people, especially students, the younger generation, is still weak. Seen from the UN examination or national examination scores, which tend to be static, even if it increases, the range still remains below 6. We highlighted below 6 on average. He says, I think that the phenomenon occurs due to lack of levels. Their literacy in terms of listening, reading, and writing. In addition, the use of foreign language is also increasing today. How can it be? It's a big question for us. We are Indonesian, we are the local citizens, but the lowest grade of score lesson is Indonesian language. It's not the simple problem that we can ignore. Even globalization means to the unity of the world does not mean we have to learn all the way long about foreign language or especially English language and leave our mother tongue, Indonesia, and the other 801 regional language from Sabang until Merauke. And as what I said before, it's our obligation as Indonesians, not just government, not just the president, but we are the Indonesian people. We have to protect our Indonesian language and the other 801 language that spread in Sabang until Merauke. I think that's all what I can say. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you for the speech, Prime Minister. Now, let's see the opposing views from the opposition leader. The time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Adjudicator, a moderator, and also the timekeeper. Thank you for the opportunity given to us today. So, we as the opposite team, we strongly disagree that the use of foreign language harm the younger generation of Indonesia amid globalization and advance in science and technology. Because of why? Because the era of globalization, which is considered a turning point, has an impact on the development of language in multidimensional manners. As a result, international language, including English, dominate the world as a politics, economy, social culture. Moreover, the science also use more English as an international language than other international languages. The developments of science and technology bring a change in the order of life. So the behavior of the Indonesian people, national and national borders are powerless to prevent the rapid and progress of science and technology, especially information technology, so that foreign language are carried along the break national and national boundaries. In the traditional context, foreign language or English are indeed challenging, of course, I know. Related to linguistic context, Indonesia, as a developing country, is a multilingual national. Indonesia has three language categorized, namely first, national language, the second is regional language, and the third is foreign language. Bahasa Indonesia is the national language and the language of nation and serve as a means of national communication. The function of regional language as a regional identify and communication tool. To the tribes of regional language as a regional identify and communication tool, while the foreign language in Indonesia are means of communication with the other country and tool. Obtain the science and technology of national development. For example, if you study accounting, which language do you see? Do you see English or do you see Indonesian? First, we're gonna see that English language is all over the world. And even our accounting teacher, our accounting lecturers, it also teach us with English, right? This should be as a problem, but rather as a challenge in dealing with the flow of communication and global academic competition. Indonesian people, both practitioners and also academic, need to master foreign language because the foreign language are a medium for entering the world community and as a means of getting knowledge. Those policies and planning that are direct, measurable, and comprehensive towards the learning of foreign language in Indonesia are needed. To deal with the problems and challenge, of course, the national foreign language, I got kind of 5 suggestions, which is a project strategy plan, present in the foreign language education, monitoring language competency, and optimization national foreign system of monitoring educational and foreign language, standard information of teacher and foreign language, and also exploration of pioneering subject and top professional training models. If the 5 suggestions can be fulfilled, the development of foreign language, especially in Indonesia, will not have harmed the national language itself, even bring significant benefit for the development of Indonesian. Well, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, opposition leader, for the speech. And now, let's see the affirmative view from Deputy Prime Minister. The time is yours.
Okay. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Good afternoon for all participants in this Zoom meeting, and for the opposition team who has gave us their argument. MMR degree as Deputy Prime Minister would like to continue the leader opposition statement about the use of foreign language. I'd like to begin with a quote that I found from Arik Cynthia. The quote is paradise national language, expert foreign language, and conserve local language. So I'd like to say the problem is not the foreign language itself. If you say, I'm strongly disagree if you say that we in accounting, we learn in English and everything. We have to change the game. Every day, we oftenly use bahasa to learn science and technology. We often use bahasa. So I like to say the problem is not for the young generation itself. We can throw this blame to the government. Because what we seen is what we learn. What they taught is become our habit. So the problematics we can throw the government and people before us who taught us the less national education. We can see the nationalism education that we consume right now compared to our parents consume is way different. Based on our data, nationalism lesson back in 80s and 90s, there's 3 nationalism lesson. There's Pancasila, Budi Pekerti, and Kewarganegaraan lesson. What we get now? What we get now? Right now, the government is not great to implement the Pancasila itself.
POI, please.
So we cannot fully throwing blame to young generation, but to the government who taught us and how easy the globalization come inside out, and how the social media and technology affecting to, and everything is controlled by the government. Globalization is already colonized this country. Everything we do is always look to other country, and the way nationalism trends is never become a trend. Even if we want to continue to the next level, we have to master the English language. So how we can stand as a country if you say that in accounting we have to learn in English, we can stand as a country. Because if
POI, please.
how we can stand as a country if the government doesn't organize the globalization that come from different things. We have to stand as a country. We have to organize the technology that we often use to be used as a way to be a better citizen. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you from the Deputy Prime Minister for the speech. And now let's see the opposing views from the Deputy of Opposition Leader. The time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I feel offended about the motion actually, because if using a foreign language harms the younger generation of Indonesia, then why are we here? Why are we competing in English debate competition? Why are we using English language? So yeah, I'm gonna tell you why are we competing in English. First of all, foreign language such as English help us to connect, grow, and advance our career, and it help us to be advanced in sciences and technology, which the government team, I think the government team has missed some kind of point about the globalization itself. And as my first speaker said that, Alicia said that in our accounting lecture, they use English. The point is because English, foreign language, help us advance in our career, advance in our education. It helped us to be where we are right now. So I like to mention about the globalization according to repository.comdip.co.id. Globalization is asserting the strong accent on improving human resource as the most distinctive factor to improve the nation's competing ability. So far, national development has been grounded mainly on economy as the most decisive factor, as it has consequence on the quality improvement of human resource as it primes movers. The emphasis on improving human resource appears in all sectors and subsectors of national development plans and programs to confirm that the government is aware of the role of quality of human resource. And in order to develop our quality of human resource, we need foreign language. We need foreign language to advance our career education. Globalization enhances the students' ability to acquire and utilize knowledge, and what can education do for our future? Our economic growth. According to warea.org, the analysis found that the globalization generated a positive impact on Indonesia's economic growth through the trade and investment channel, reduced wage inequality, child labor participation, and increased labor absorption, including women's participation in labor market. Okay, as the opposition team, we are aware of your concern. We are aware that you see that we will extinct our culture, but look at the bright side. Look at how far we've become about this globalization thing. Look the bright side, because many of us, the young people of the Indonesian citizens, can go abroad to pursue their higher dreams. Look at Maudi Ayunda. I believe if we don't open of globalization, we cannot use foreign language. Maudi Ayunda won't go to Stanford nor Harvard, right? I think we can agree about this, because if we always being so close about the globalization, we cannot go any further due. I can give you another example, such as Nikki or Weird Genius. They can go studying abroad, they can go international, because they are advanced in foreign language. They can also introduce our Indonesian language to the other countries. We can also make a rights about a movement like China has. Like China right now, Mandarin is becoming one of the most universal language in this country. I mean, in the whole country, we can do that. Because why? All of the globalization things, all of these foreign language has taught us that we can do more. For example, an Australian school has taught Indonesian language as their one of the subject. So I think that is the bright side of us. We learn foreign language of how globalization has driven us this far. And also, if we are so close about this globalization thing, about we cannot learn about the another language, I think I cannot go from the patriarchal city. I mean, I won't be here. I will still be at my house. I mean, cleaning the dishes. So I think we have to think about the globalization. We have to think about the foreign language that has taught us, that has increased our educational system and our economical growth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the speech, Deputy Opposition Leader. But before we move on, I want to remind you the thing regarding the POI has been explained in the chat. So please read about it. And now let's hear the affirmative view from the government whip. Time is yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Aura. As the government whip, I would like to give my statement. But first, the opposition team states that English language helps advance with our careers and helps us get to where we are right now. Our team disagree with this statement because I would like to mention that the national language plays an essential role in establishing our identity. Language plays a big role in history and culture. Learning more about the national language signifies learning the same history and culture of your parents, relatives, and even the generation before and after. This boosts our connection to your heritage and local citizen. So does this mean our heritage is useless during globalization? I hope not. The self-awareness that you belong to your native country gives you confidence and stability. Based on an article from bukalapak.com written by Delianta on October 2018, some of the younger generation who has been exposed to foreign language during their childhood struggles to communicate with the locals using native language. This makes us Indonesian people confused about our own national identity. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Government Whip for the speech. And now let's move on to the opposition whip. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the adjudicator, the moderator, timekeeper, the opponents, as well as the audiences. My name is Stephanie from the administration, as I'm speaking here as the third speaker from the opposition team, and we believe that learning or using foreign language can totally brings the good, which means we strongly disagree with the government team. Objection first about what your second speaker already said, that you were questioning how can we keep up in this country. We are questioning you, how can we keep up in this world? You are thinking that Indonesia can live alone? You are thinking that Indonesia can survive alone with the other countries' support? We guess not. And moreover, your third speaker already mentioned about the importance of national language. Yes, we know that we doesn't ignore the importance of our language, but we're talking about the globalization to align the collaboration about the one another country. And you were not talking about that a thing. Okay, moving on. In this globalization era, based on what my first speaker already mentioned, that the development of language, especially English, is already dominate in the world, which means it's not only in Indonesia, like you were mentioned about, and it's not only in Asia itself, it's the world. And it means that it is aligned with the United Nations. Why did I say that? Because it aligned also for our world, our country that you were always questioning about. Therefore, if we cannot even communicate or connect with the other countries, how can we keep up in this world? Moving on with my second speaker already mentioned about connect to the world and helps our economic growth. Looking up in our situation right now in this COVID-19 pandemic era, we're not going to elaborate about what the meaning of the pandemic and etc., but we're talking about our situation. We are survived from those terribly moment because of the vaccinated itself, because of the vaccination itself. And how did we get it? How did Indonesia get it? We get it based on our collaboration with other countries. And not talking about the business also, but we're talking also about the youth who learn the foreign language, to learn about the lessons of the vaccine so that we can knowing and we can understand how the use of the vaccine and now we can survive like that. And moving on, Dira or my second speaker already mentioned also that this globalization can become a bridge into one another country, which means it aligns with the international or global exposure. There are many testimonial story in our website or in Indonesia itself about the international or global exposure, which already quoted and published in our news, our Indonesia's news, such as Kompas.com, etc., what you were looking for. And that says that without global exposure, our human research will find it difficult to come in this world of work or in this international. According to the social survey of investor.id, they stated that Gen Z dominate 27.9% of Indonesia's total population. And therefore, there will be a bonus demography in the future, which challenge us as youth, which we're talking about youth, to compete in the world of work in the future. And therefore, moreover, we will give you the solution to get that the international exposure to maintain or develop yourself. It can be by joining the international organization such as MUN, ISAC, etc., and which we have in our university. And it can be one of those ways to keep up with the globalization, especially the science and technology itself, which discussed in this motion. And moreover, those organizations that we mentioned place their belief in youth, which align with the investor ID survey before that I mentioned before, that to develop and take the world's competition both in this globalization and science and technology era by using the first step to use and learn the foreign language also. Therefore, we can conclude that foreign language brings the good for ourselves, for youth itself. And we strongly disagree with your team because we cannot get your point enough about the globalization and the nationality that you mentioned. And in this case, I think that we don't really get your point in this case. So we still believe that the Foreign language brings the good for this globalization and science and technology. Thank you.
Okay, Opposition Whip, thank you for the speech. And now we can hear the reply speech, which will be delivered by the opposition side speaker first. The time is yours.
Okay.
Ladies and
We-
gentlemen,
Sorry. Was that right?
whose turn is it?
Opposition, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we strongly disagree that the use of foreign language harms the younger generation of Indonesia amid globalization and advance in science and technology, because we mentioned you guys before the advantage of being learned about the foreign language, of how globalization has opened so many doors for us. This should not be seen as a problem. If you guys learn accounting with English, you shouldn't be seen that as a problem. You shouldn't be seen that as a disadvantage of learning about foreign language. You have to see that as a challenge in dealing with the flow of communication and global academic competition. Indonesian people, both practitioners and also academics, need to master foreign language, because foreign language are a medium for entering the world community as a means of getting knowledge. We as a students, we have to learn about foreign language because it will advance our career. Because we all know in this pandemic situation, like Stephanie said, that there's a lot of limitation about how are we gonna work. Because we all know all of about the limitations. So we have to keeping up with a lot of people, not only about in Indonesia, but we have to keeping up with a lot of people. We have to compete in a lot of people outside our country. So we have to look at the bright side. Ladies and gentlemen, the advantage of this foreign language and globalizations thing is too much to be, no, thank you. It's too much to be considered as a harm for us. I mean, we give you guys the advantage. How can you say that it is harms the younger generation if you guys cannot provide us to have more evidence? So, ladies and gentlemen, like we mentioned before, we wouldn't even be here if it considered as a harms to learning about foreign language. We cannot be here if we didn't educate our own self. We cannot be here if we didn't keep up with the globalization, with the international knowledge and exposure. We are trying our best to be the best young generation of Indonesia by learning foreign language, by open up with all of the globalization and the advance in science and technology. We are trying our best. We are trying to be the best of the best for Indonesia. Because we are Indonesian future, right? I think we can agree with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we can look back like what Alicia said, that back then Indonesian representative is being mocked or being fooled by our when we are being not free, when we are not free enough, we will be mocked, we will be fooled by them, because we cannot use foreign language. We only can use about Indonesian language. Not that I said that Indonesian language is bad, but the point is we have to learn foreign language. We have to open up about the globalization and the advance in science and technology. It's because we won't be fooled. We won't be mocked by them anymore. So yeah, so we as an Indonesian young generation, we won't be there. We won't be get in that kind of condition anymore. So therefore, we can learn to survive for the upcoming bonus did to our ancestors. Therefore, we can learn to survive by the bonus demography era by developing our youth resources itself in order to help current difficulties of academics. It is necessary to anticipate earlier by changing foreign language curriculum policy, both at primary, secondary, and high level, or even the higher level. The foreign language education policy in Indonesia has continued to change until now. Lastly, we can trust the government team. We cannot trust the government team enough because there are so many things, so many missed points about the motion. And we bring you guys the solution. We bring you the evidence. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, opposition reply speaker. And now let's hear the opinion from the government reply speaker. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. And now I would like to summarize the debate before, and the government team still stand with our statement. The use of foreign language harms the younger generation of Indonesia amid globalization and advance in science and technology. The opposition side always said we have to look the bright side. We have to look the bright side of using the foreign language in the globalization, but let's see the dark side. As what I said before in the first, the phenomenon that in the UN or national exam, the lowest score is Indonesian language, our mother tongue, our national language. So how can it be? We are Indonesian people. We are from Indonesia, but the lowest score is Indonesian language. Okay, the globalization, we need to, the globalization is lead to unity of the white word, use the foreign language. But as we see, if the overlearning and we ignored our own mother tongue, Indonesian language, and the other 801 language in Sabang until Merauke. So we still stand that using foreign language not just have a bright side, but also have the dark side. And the other phenomenon is called the lack of local genius. That means that Indonesian people know more the foreign language and foreign culture than their own culture, Indonesian culture. We believe that popularity of language helps cause this phenomenon. From this conclusion, we are sure and believe this our statement that foreign language has also have the dark side, and we have to protect our Indonesian language and the other 801 language. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Government Reply Speaker, for the opinion. And that concludes our debate for today. And now we can hear the opinion from the adjudicator, Mr. Sandro. You can your opinions.
Okay, well, thank you, Marvel, for the opportunity. First of all, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me as an adjudicator in your debate today. First of all, I would like to congratulate to all the participants. You did a great job. And here is my short evaluation according to your performance. That our motion today is the use of foreign languages harms the younger generation of Indonesia amid globalization and advance in science and technology. Well, I would like to go to the government team for the first speaker. You already told us about the condition in Indonesia. There are Bahasa as our national language, and this kind of national language will protect our identity as the developing countries. I think that's it, the summary from the first speaker of government team, and I want to go to the first speaker of the opposition team. Well, I do believe that you already give the strong rebuttal because you disagree about the motion, and I mean about the opinion from the first speaker of the government that you said in your opinion the international language can use in is important that use in science and technology that apply in Indonesia in all department, and also you already give us some solution that you suggest that can be applied in education system Indonesia, and this system will not harm the national language that we call it bahasa. Well, good job. And we are moving to the second speaker of the government team. Well, you said that you bring us about one quote that relate to your opinion, and you also strengthening your point with the statement that every day people in Indonesia, especially young generation, use bahasa to learn science and technology. But I think that you missed the point about what the first speaker of the opposition already told. So you don't have a strong rebuttal for the opinion of the first speaker of the opposition. You just said that national education in Indonesia is about Pancasila, Budi Pekerti, etc., and we should relate to our government because you give example that nowadays the government failed to apply this Pancasila, and I don't think so. It relates to the first speaker of the opposition team. So that's it from the second speaker of the government. And also you didn't have an example because you just told us we should use technology to make a better life, but you didn't give the real examples that happening especially in Indonesia. Well, we are going to the second speaker of the opposition. Wow, you also gave the strong rebuttal for the first and the second speaker of the government because you told us that one of the advantage why we use foreign language, especially English, is uh, I mean to give a more chance to a young generation to go abroad, especially you already give us, or you already told us about the relate example, like maybe Ayunda can go international because of, yeah, she's smart, but she has a strong international language, so she joined the university. And also you have Nikki as a singer also introduce that Indonesia can compete in a globalization competition if we can speak with the international language nicely. And also, I do like your example that in Australia about their education system also introduce Indonesia as in their education system. It means that international language, I mean the foreign language, it's also important to the country to make a collaboration or to I mean to strengthening our career and our education system in globalization era. Well, I'm going to the third speaker of the government team. You just said to us that some of you struggle to communicate with bahasa because since their childhood they are forced to use a foreign language, so it will harms our national identity. But unfortunately you didn't give the real example that relate to the to the globalization and relate to the science technology. That's it, you just say that. But I think you have I think you missed the point about the second speaker of the opposition team. Sorry to say that. And now I'm going to the third speaker of opposition team. Yes, you still disagree about the motion and you strengthening your first and your second speaker in your team. Uh, you say that how can we keep up in this world without foreign language? How can we make a communication with foreigners? How can we make a good collaboration, especially in business? And you elaborate the strong examples like nowadays in the pandemic era that Indonesia can survive because of vaccination, and it relate to collaboration in business thing. Uh, and why it can be happen because of communication that using foreign language. And you also using elaborate your opinion with some of references like compass.com said, and investor.id said that without global exposure we can lose in this globalization competition. And also I'd like to say that I do like your opinion because you can make it relate to us because nowadays the population of Gen Z or Z, yes, I mean, the Gen Z in Indonesia is one of the demographic bonus for Indonesia if we can use or if we can compete to the globalization era. And one of the condition is we need to know about the foreign language itself. And also in the end of your speech, you gave us about solution how youth in Indonesia can improve their foreign language by joining international organizations like MUN or ISEC or etc. I think that's will strengthening your speech. And you also gave us one conclusion that foreign language brings good to us in any aspect. So that's all the short evaluation for me. But thank you for all team from the government team and the opposition team, and good luck for the result, and see you on final. Thank you, Marvel.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sandro, for the comments. And don't forget to say again, congratulations to the both team. You both did well. And with that, the competition is over. And I would like to say thank you to both team who have expressed their views, both affirmative or the opposite, and as well to our guest chief adjudicator. And the winner will be announced around 8 p.m. maybe tonight on the chat room. And then let us close the semifinal match and keep your spirits up, everybody, and see you on the final. The participant can leave the Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you to committee adjudicator also. Hi, good luck.